Chairperson Wright,
Yes, here.
Commissioner Medina Hernandez,
Here.
Commissioner Blevins,
Here.
Commissioner Giorgiani,
Here.
Commissioner Dunlap,
Yes.
Commissioner Caldwell, absent. And Commissioner Walde, I know he's absent. He already told me he was traveling abroad. Let the record reflect, we have more than enough for a quorum. At this time, I'm going to read the Open Public Meetings Act. This meeting of the Board of Commissioners will take place electronically in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, specifically NJSA 10:4-9.3. Notice of this meeting was given by 1, public advertisement with a sufficient notice herewith to the Home News Tribune, 2, filing advance written notice of this meeting with the City Clerk's office, and 3, posting this notice on the public website of the Housing Authority. During the meeting, participants, including members of the public, may be muted by the host. However, there will be an opportunity for them to participate and speak during the public portion of the meeting, where participants will be unmuted at the request. At this time, reading the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this moment, let's take a moment of silence for boat passing and the people at the Jersey Shore suffering the horrific fires. Take a moment. Okay, we'll continue. At this time, we're going to forego the consideration of meeting minutes from last meeting. We'll be introducing them at the next meeting. Chair, at this time, we're going to move to the secretary report and informational items, unless you have something to say right now.
I know.
Okay. Informational items dealing with 100 Jersey Ave and the other redevelopment properties. I have counsel here, Mr. John Hoffman. I provided commissioners with the diligent letters that he wrote to all individuals that are in limbo currently, to be nice. But he is here. If you have any questions of him in the packet, I provided the letters that Mr. Hoffman went out and sent April 10th.
Mr. Chairman, if you want, I can go through the
I would sincerely appreciate that. I was going to pause
yes.
for questions, but yeah,
Okay.
for the record.
Okay, the first project is Jersey Avenue NB Urban Renewal. It's from 90 to 200 Jersey Avenue. It was a project consisting of 660 residential units, 1,279 parking spaces, and commercial and office space. Construction was to begin on March 1st, 2022. It has not begun at all. We wrote to them asking for response as to what the status of the project is. We got no response, although I got a telephone call today from their development director, called her back and she was out. So apparently they're trying to contact us. So that's where that stands. If they don't do anything as of the next meeting, you'll have a decision as to you want to revoke, give them notice you're going to revoke their redevelopment status or not. But I would suggest we wait and see what they say. The second is Sovereign Consulting. That was a flex warehouse and office. That's a very old project. We wrote to them asking the status. We've got no response. The next is New Street Associates, which is the 40 Livingston Avenue, the Elks Building, and that's a 24-story mixed-use residential development with 207 residential units, ground floor commercial, and 356 parking spaces. The redevelop was approved on February 28, 2024, conditioned on an execution of a redevelopment agreement. No redevelopment agreement has ever been signed or executed. We wrote the letter to them. We have no response. The next is NB Plaza owner.
Excuse me, was there a comment? Okay, probably
The
feedback.
next is NB Plaza owner urban renewal. That's Lower George Street. That's a mixed-use project, 800 residential units, retail, and a 500 one-square parking deck. We got a response from their attorney saying that there was litigation that was started by, apparently there was a partnership among the redeveloper and another person. There were two different litigations. They've now been decided by the judge, who decided that the litigations had no merit. However, they're appealing. There was a preliminary injunction which stayed them from doing anything. That's now been removed. So my understanding, they're going to move forward. They're requesting from us a 1-year extension. And I suggest under the circumstances, it wasn't their fault because of the litigation, that at the next meeting, we give them the 1-year extension for the beginning of construction. In the end, apparently they're still going forward and are going forward with the planning board to get that approved. And that's the one that had 20% low and moderate of the 800 units or 160 units.
Okay.
The next
I'm
one,
sorry, I
Now
have a
hold on.
question.
yes,
Which location was that again? The one you
that
just-
was the one, it's a church, it's on George
Okay.
Street, it's the church property.
Abundant life.
Fund Life,
Yeah,
thank you.
Abundant Life. The next was LM, New Brunswick Urban Renewal, that's really the, on Livingston Avenue, the Millennium Bank property. They have, they didn't acquire all the property they thought they were gonna acquire, so, but they've now filed with us a brand new application to be redeveloper, and that should be on your agenda for your May meeting.
Have it.
The next is Holton Square. That's been a project that's been around for a long time. We got a letter from their attorney who said that the environmental is much worse than they thought, and they're gonna need at least another 12 to 18 months to clean it up. So they want an extension. I will deal with their attorney and determine whether what's appropriate is an extension or whether we should just revoke their redevelopment, and when they get the environmental resolved, they can come back. And the last is AST, that's the county office building. That's been delayed because the city's considering changing the redevelopment plan to permit a different kind of designation. I think it's in order to permit the redeveloper to get to get tax abatement. And so that, they've asked that we put that on hold. And if they change the redevelopment plan, we'd have to revoke their redeveloper status on the old plan and consider it under the new plan. And except, those are all the 7 projects that have been pending. You know, there are others that are active, and we'll go over one later on the Nokia site. But if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
So with that AST building that they're proposing as being a county services building, I mean, that's just a proposition that these tenants would likely be here. It's not officially a county building that's being constructed.
It would be, my understanding is that the building would be constructed and the county would lease it.
Okay, but
Lease it for 20 years, I think.
do they have those lease agreements in place currently? or
No,
is
they
there-
do not. And they
So
don't
that's
have the leases in
that's-
place, and they don't have and the redevelopment area is gonna be changed.
Right. So that's speculative, but the city has seen some value in looking at the redevelopment area and changing the designation so that they can make the finances work. So that's fine. As far as I'm concerned with AST, we've heard back from them. That's fine. And the other commissioners, feel free to weigh in here. Abundant Life, that 1 year, I'm on the fence about that, even though there's litigation. Did the litigation delay them a year, or did it delay them 4 months or 5 months?
Well, it delayed them close to a year because there was
Okay.
a preliminary injunction that prohibited them from doing anything. That was
Okay.
the problem. And
Perfectly
they are
fine.
going forward with the planning board, but we can ensure that, you know, that they're, well, I'll find out when they're moving forward with the planning board at the time we go forward to consider the year extension.
Okay. Millennium Bank, they're going to request a new redevelopment agreement anyway. That's super fine.
Well, they're gonna be requested to be the redeveloper, yeah. And it's a
Yeah.
revised project because two of the properties behind the bank that they were gonna acquire, they're not now acquiring. So the project, it's the same basic project, but it's smaller.
Gotcha. And then that
I'm sorry, I have
take
a
your
question.
I
Yes.
take your recommendation on that Fulton environmental issue. Commissioner Hernandez?
Yes, the Millennium Bank, who is it again?
Who's the developer?
Yes,
It's LM is a developer. There's a partnership. Jack Morris is 50% a partner, and the other partner, I don't have it in front of me right now, but it's another.
I just
another
needed to get clar-
developer.
I need to get clarification, with who the partnership's with. Thank you.
Yeah,
And then with respect to the folks that we haven't heard anything from, I think that's the purpose of us having sent out these initial letters for the 10-day request. And with the other commissioners' feedback on this, I'm of the mind that the next step for us is the 90-day notice.
okay.
And Chair, you were talking about, I think it's the Hope with the property, the land that's been going, the environmental.
Yeah, that's 100
Yes, I
Jersey
think that has been very,
Fulton Square. Yeah.
yeah, Fulton Square. That has been a very long period of time already.
Yeah.
So I think it should be already, because they've been asking for extension.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, my
This-
thought is I'm gonna talk to them and that we should revoke their redevelopment
Yes.
status, and that when they have the environmental done, then they can come back.
My thought exactly.
Perfect. All right.
So then now what we're looking at then with the Jersey Avenue development, so then Chair, you're suggesting that now is the 90-day? Because it's been
Yes.
quite some time
Yes.
because,
Yes. And the rationale being is that we sent these 10-day letters because they've missed the notices, meaning they were out of communication to begin with, right? So we've waited to hear from them. We haven't heard from them. We said, hey, 10 days to hear from you. We haven't heard from 90 days.
okay. Just to let you know, there are residents in that area that have been very vocal about the landscaping, about how that looks over there in their area. So
Yeah,
this should not be taking this long period of time.
of course
And
not. Of course
should-
not. That's why we're taking action immediately, right? And that's going to get us to the next step, which is going to be what we do about the blight of it. And that's probably going to be a larger city conversation. But first, we
Yes.
have to take initiative to let these folks know that you can't just have nothing going on. That's not the agreement.
Yeah, they're over 2 years late.
They are.
There we
Yeah,
go.
regarding the abundant life status, someone can reiterate that before I can get more comprehension of that?
That was,
Yep.
they have
Counselor.
requested a 1-year extension in the starting date because there was litigation between apparently there was a considered partnership to be the redeveloper, but ultimately the redeveloper did not partner with this other partner, so he sued. And when he sued, he got a preliminary injunction from the judge, which that stopped all construction, all action until the suits are decided. There were 2 suits, but they were in the names of certain citizens of New Brunswick, and the other one was in the name of a potential developer. The suits had, in my opinion, no merit whatsoever, because what they were saying is that we had to go out and bid, but we don't own the property. So how can we bid out for people to come in for a proposal on property we don't own? And the judge finally said that in both suits there was no standing, and he dismissed the suits. The preliminary injunction is gone, and but they have appealed the decision of the judge. My understanding from their counsel is they are gonna be moving forward with the planning board, and they'd like us to give them a 1-year extension to start construction and complete construction. I'll have more information before our next May meeting, and I'll put that on the agenda, and the board can consider it or not consider it, whatever they want to do.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hoffman. And so we have right now a 1 year approved by the judge, or still?
No,
up
the
for
judge, the judge dismissed the lawsuits and removed there was what's called a preliminary restraints, which means that they could not go forward with the project until the judge made his decision. He made his decision in both lawsuits dismissing them. And so now they can go forward, even though the plaintiffs are appealing.
Thank you again.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hoffman.
Chair, you may want to tell the rest of the commissioners that that will come back before us to give that extension for 1 year.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Right. My fault. I thought that was part of the conversation. Okay.
Great. Mr. Giorgiani, you good before we move on? Okay. All right. Mr. Huffman, thank you. If there's nothing else in that informational matter, we're going to move on to Penrose and Hildebrand Commons, long overdue. It's been 15 years in the working. I can officially tell you that I signed off on everything this week with Tim Hinkle and the powers to be there and be ready for groundbreaking. You know, it's going to come hopefully by summer, and
Okay.
maybe before, maybe after. It's right in that window. So we're pretty excited, and love to see seniors being taken care of and them meeting their obligations. So I told them there was no need for them to come here. I was confident after reading the documents and the forward progress that they made, and we're happy. So that fulfills that. I have a presentation right now. We have Suzanne Johnson with us, talking about an educational program she wants to run here at our housing complex. I think it's very important that we overlook a lot of the kids that live on grounds here. We have 150 of them, anywhere from 2 years old all the way up to 18, and that's who we want to target. So without any further ado, I want to turn it over to her, and she will share with you some of the ideas that she has, and it will surround the digital divide that I've been talking to you guys about over the last couple months. Suzanne, please.
Thank you, Mr. Toto. Thank you for having me, guys. I'd like to introduce to you what I'm calling the TWO program, TWO meaning the world is ours, and it's based off of the basis that anything is possible and everything is accessible through the internet. This program has been created to educate, enlighten, and engage students with the youth within the community. Each child and family is number one, and we will be number two. I do believe every child is talented, every child is gifted. I want to show the children the way and to understand this and believe in this themselves. I'd like to tell you a little something about myself. I've been in this public school sector for over 30 years. First as a classroom teacher, both in general education and special education. And then I moved on to the child study team as a learning disability teacher consultant. I've seen a lot over the years. I've seen great trends. I've seen lots of positive things. I've seen areas in need of improvement. I do believe that I've noticed these trends and identified methods to move children forward. Through the TWO program, every student will feel important and be provided the opportunities which will be engaging, motivating, and above all, successful. The program will support basic academic needs, which is the foundation. Believing in them and allowing them to feel success are the stepping stones. There will be no failures, just learning and growth opportunities. Empowering and teaching these children to be able to access everything and understand the internet in a safe and an appropriate manner is really the goal. It's something that will carry over with them forever. The program, I would like for the program to begin as an after-school program, which would be held potentially in the community room, a couple times a week until the end of the school year. I would do interest inventories. We would offer homework help. Activities would be provided, after-school snacks, and guided socialization. Most importantly, the rapport will be established between the children and the adults and the students. Once children buy into something, I really believe that they are motivated and they will continue to do so. I want to teach them each, or give them the opportunity to each have an email address, to understand Google Docs, to understand Google Drive, to really harness and build upon what the school is already doing. I want to give them the power for their educational journey. A positive reward system, I think, would be, well, I know would be put in place in order to allow the children to earn points, which would be in turn converted into dollars to be spent on prizes. We all work for money, and the children should learn that hard work in school and activities can also lead to tangible items. I think it's very motivational, and I really want the kids to buy in. I know children, I know what they need, and I know how to make it work. I know you know your community, you know your parents, and I want to bring all of our ideas together to allow this program to evolve into a strong and successful community program. Again, using the internet to pull it all together.
Thank you.
Anybody have questions? Thank you.
I do have a question, and if you mentioned it, and if I didn't hear it, I apologize. What is the age group of children that you'll be working with?
I want to see what the interest really is. And I can do anything, absolutely, from elementary school through. Just depending on the age group that comes, and we can have different hours for different groups. They can all have access just depending on their age and their developmental levels, whether it is actually creating an email account and creating, Google Docs and working with the Google Drive, or just what internet safety is, understanding what is real news and what's not real news, and how to be, very careful around what you're seeing and reading.
Yeah. My other question is that, so you're looking at this program to be every day of the week, or you're looking to see first how many students have an interest?
I think we should start with a couple days a week, to have students come and be introduced to the program and buy into it a little bit. See interest, get interest inventories, what the kids want to do, because I don't want it really based academically. I want to, the academics is the foundation, but really pull in their interests. What do they like to do? What can we explore? What can we learn, like through themes or through, just different avenues.
Okay. Has your program worked with students from urban school districts?
Absolutely has. Back in the day, we used to call it district factor grouping A. I have worked in many school districts, all socioeconomic levels, all types of areas. So yes, I absolutely can connect with children of all areas. It's truly believing in them and establishing mutual respect and rapport.
So you also talked
I'd like
about,
to,
I'm sorry, I have one more question, Dave. You
No,
also talked about one
go
of the
ahead, yeah.
programs is about developing with emails. So how do you secure that with safety? Because emails that can be very challenging and also very dangerous as well too for students. So what is your security factor with that? And of course, I know speaking with parents, you would get parental permission for that for students to develop that.
Absolutely. And I do want the parents involved. I want the parents to feel secure and safe and that their children are safe. Any child can create an email address, right? So, doing it, teaching parents also parental controls over things. Starting with the power of them being able to communicate even with us or with me or with each other, and what the expectations are. There is always, obviously, the internet is a very, very big place, and teaching them the right way to do it and the safe way to do it. It's like, we can't hide it from them. We just have to guide them how to really use it appropriately.
And the good thing, if I may add, we control it because we're here. Our hub is here until we can get the digital divide money to go out into the community, so we can have land drops or towers put up for them. But right now we'll control it at this pace inside. And Joe Manfredi and I spoke about this at length, and no one's doing this. I ran an ESL, I did a carpentry training program through the years here that we had money, but that was all funded based on what the state was requiring us to do. We've never really done anything like this. We've always spoken about it. So we're going to give it a ride. And as far as themes go, I think the one thing that was overlooked, one big theme is, we Suzanne and I spoke about it. Now correct me, Suzanne, if I'm wrong. What would I do if this happened? What would I do if that happened? How to handle things through conflict resolution. And I think that's where the strength of this goes. And remember last year, the 2 scholarships that we gave those individuals, their letters to me were quite moving. If they were the executive director, what would they do? And out of the 8 respondents, we gave out 2 scholarships, and both of them hit the nail on the nose. Like, they expect us, or they think an executive director or our board or the people that work here should do more for the community and embracing them. What better way than to start here? Maybe we can't get to all the kids, but 3 to 6, 2 different shifts of kids, making sure that they're protected, making sure that they get back all right. We have one heck of a camera system. Commissioner Giorgiani saw it in full action today. So security will be paramount. I want to go ahead with this and make it happen and provide the kids an outlet to come here between 3 and 6. All right. Any other questions?
Yes. First of all, I'd actually like to see this proposal in writing so I could review it. But the other thing is, having been a past director of after-school programs, the state has licensing requirements for all after-school programs. Would this program be licensed by what used to be called DIFAS? Also, it requires all people who are interacting with the children to be fingerprinted by the DIFAS program. Is all of that included in your plan?
So we're not going to run it as an outside agency coming in. We're going to handle it as an authority here to provide, as though we were going to provide something for National Night Out, or we would do our Halloween giveaway, or Christmas bonanza that we would do through the years. So it would be something to provide them, and it might be a mix of parents coming with their children and so on. No one will ever be alone, meaning an instructor with all our instructors will be, we'll have a background check. That's what we do here for our own employees and our tenants. We would run them through accordingly. And we can talk about the rest of the things as your knowledge would be very beneficial in this.
Well, I just want to make sure we don't get down the road and then get slapped by DIPUS with not having completed the things that they do require.
I got you. Okay.
Pardon me, please forgive the interruption. It's Charlie Cradaville. I'm just noticing on the screen it says that the meeting is about to run out of time in just over 1 minute. So I, wanted to bring that to everybody's attention, and I think if that happens in 1 minute, everyone should just rejoin the same link.
Thank you.
And it
Thank
should-
you.
Yeah,
Yes, I
it's
just
just
noticed
in
as
the
well.
corner
Thank you,
of the
Charlie.
screen.
may even be in order to have a motion to recess just until you get back all and call it back to order.
Yeah, it shouldn't
that's all.
be.
See
Thank
that,
you.
huh? Okay.
It's right
Says at
on
the
the corner over there. so.
Right-hand corner screen.
Okay. Is Zach still with us? Zach?
Yeah, I'm still with you. Okay,
All right.
so let's get a motion to regroup.
Motion by
Make-
Zach. Second, please.
Second,
Go ahead.
Okay. Roll call. Chairperson Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins,
Yes.
Commissioner Medina Hernandez,
yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
That's enough for a quorum. We are recessing. Let me go and figure this out here.
All right.
All right, now everyone should just rejoin.
Here's your paycheck.
I just told you. Hold on. Got to try to figure this out here.
Perfect.
See what your computer says.
Mine doesn't have anything anymore.
Oh, I was talking to the accountant. Sorry.
Okay.
See who else is here. Okay.
Okay, I have one other question for Ms. Johnson or Dan.
Wait a minute. Do we have to make a motion to go back into
We
our
do.
session
that's
before
okay.
everything starts?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a
Thank you,
motion to
Adam.
resume?
No, just making sure.
No.
everybody's cool.
Second,
Good point, Commissioner.
Great. Roll call. Chairperson Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins,
Yes.
Commissioner Medina Hernandez,
yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
At this time, let the record reflect, we have enough as a quorum to continue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So my question, Ms. Johnson is, or Dan, when is it that we're looking to begin this program? Is it something also, and would it something be continuing in the summer as well for students who have an interest in continuing some of the programs, be it academic or be it other learning programs in the summer?
I can answer that, Suzanne. As soon as Joe Manfredi and I look into what Commissioner Blevins stated, then we'll report back to the board, and hopefully we can get started before the summer and then continue through the summer and see how it goes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Shoot. Okay. At this time, we can move on. Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Then, let me see. Okay, and at this time, we're going to continue with the last informational item, the forming of a committee for the proposed development of Schwartz Homes in Robeson Village. I can turn this over to Zach, or I can continue at next meeting, Zach, if we don't have anything to follow up on.
I don't think we have anything specific to follow up on. I spoke with Manfredi about what we would need to do for the committee. It's nothing super special. It will report to the general board as well, and it's going to be 3 members, and including myself. So it's going to be a heavy time commitment, though. I can say that it's not a casual board.
Great.
I'll just add that you do have the authority under the bylaws as the chair to form this committee for that purpose. So
Right.
Okay.
And Alberto, it's no more than 3, right?
correct, because once you get more than 3, then you do have a quorum
Yes.
for the purposes of a public meeting. So that's why.
Great.
Right. But all the activities of that board then roll up, or that subcommittee would then roll up to this board. So
Correct.
All right. At this time, I can open it up to the public unless the commissioners have any questions, but feel free at any time, commissioners, to ask your questions. If you don't, I can go ahead with the public comment. Does anyone from the public like to say anything at this time?
see a hand.
There's a hand.
Hello, Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick today. I think this is Mr. Blevins' first meeting, so I just wanted to say, congratulations and best wishes. Welcome aboard.
Second meeting.
Thank you.
Did appreciate the updates on all the redevelopment projects, and wanted to ask about one that wasn't named and see if there's a status on the 11 Spring Street, the Boardof Tower. Did anybody look into if they are in compliance with their redevelopment agreement? Do they have a redevelopment agreement?
Well, I can tell you this, Charlie. Thanks for that comment. We'll definitely look into it and we'll report back to you.
Okay. On the LM project, that would be the New Millennium Bank project. I want to clarify, they haven't been designated yet, right? And is that area even a redevelopment area?
It's a redevelopment area, but they have not been designated yet.
Okay, and if I heard correctly, they will be, they've submitted an application and are going to be at the, presenting at the next meeting. Is that correct? The May meeting?
The intention is for them to be considered to be the redeveloper at the May meeting.
Okay.
Everything's still on my desk. The commissioners don't have a copy of anything yet.
Okay. The changes to the redevelopment area that has already got the approval for AST's office building, the one that the county is, allegedly going to rent. Is this, where are we getting the information from that there's proposal to change the redevelopment area or the redevelopment plan in some way? Is that coming from the developer or planning department? Because I attend every meeting or most meetings. I haven't heard about this yet.
I got it from the developer's attorney who sent me an email. said that they were considering changing the redevelopment area.
Okay. Do you
And
know
they were
in
waiting
what
for
way?
that change. I'm sorry?
Do you know in what way it might change? Would the the land uses that are allowed change, or would the
I
the
think it may
rules
be,
for
it may
size?
change to an area that would permit condemnation. However, that wouldn't seem to be, that would seem to be kind of moot because I believe the developer owns all the property. But it may be required in order for them to get the kind of financing that they need and the tax situation they need.
Okay. I see a resolution on tonight for the introduction of a annual budget. Wanted to ask if I could just get the total amount and any, major changes in this year's budget versus prior year.
Yep. You'll have all that in about 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll listen with
And if
great
we'll give you a
interest.
minute to come back if we don't answer your question. How about that? You happy about that? I'm happy.
I would
I'll give you that
appreciate it.
minute.
I'm sure you will answer it. I thank you for the offer. And yeah, it just would close with a comment. I note that this meeting was packed with information about redevelopment, and that's great. And I hope that lots of people watch our video of it on New Brunswick Today. It's on Facebook and YouTube. But unfortunately, the authority's website does not have nearly as much information about redevelopment projects. I think there's some documents from the AST application, but otherwise no listing or map of the redevelopment projects and the current statuses. And I think this is something I've brought up before, that would be a really good and useful thing for the authority to put on the web. And I hope, at a minimum, you'll have the documents from this, LM proposal for the New Millennium Bank property to build a relatively tall building. Maybe you call it a skyscraper, maybe you don't, but a major development project proposed for that property. And I hope that by the time you have your public meeting next month and have the hearing on it, that all documents that the authority has on it will be made available, proactively publish them to that redevelopment section of the website so that folks have an opportunity to review them before the meeting without having to, file a request for them. So I hope that we can get more good information on the website so that, people can get it even outside of this once a month meeting, because I do appreciate the information being here, but I think it belongs on the website. So would like to see that improved. Otherwise, just wish everybody well. Thanks for hearing me out, and I'm glad we're still here on the call.
Thank you, Mr. Cradaville. I appreciate it. We'll take that all into consideration, but feel free to jump in a little bit if we don't answer your question about the budget. Okay. At this time, Chair, we're going to close public comment unless there's someone else out there who'd like to say something. Give it a second.
Seeing none,
Okay.
a motion.
Motion, second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Dunlap. Commissioners, a roll call. Chairperson Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins,
Yes.
Commissioner Medina Hernandez,
Yes,
Commissioner Giorgiani,
Yes.
and
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Let the record reflect, motion passes. At this time, we're going to move to new business. NBHA Resolution 2025-4-23, number 22. Resolution approving, authorizing, ratifying payment of bills for March 2025. There are no questions. I'll need a motion in a second.
Motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner. Roll call. Chairperson Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins,
Yes.
Commissioner Medina Hernandez,
yes,
Commissioner Giorgiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Great. At this time, we still have Mr. Hoffman with us. Thank you so much, Mr. Hoffman, for staying on board. Resolution, NBHA Resolution 2025-4-23, number 23. Resolution to authorize and approve the Nokia H2 project, change of ownership of the redeveloper, which now consists of SJP New Brunswick LLC, an experienced developer and real estate developer and real estate investment trust controlled by Morgan Stanley and Nokia. And I have a resolution attached to that for your review. There are any questions? Mr. Hoffman is here.
Yeah, I can just tell you, this is the Nokia project, and the redeveloper was controlled by some extent by a DEFCO entity, and they're bowing out, and they're bringing in SJP Properties to be the developer who own 20% of it, and then there's a financial developer, which is a Morgan Stanley REIT, and what this also does is permit them to change some ownership interest if they want, as long as the REIT and the SJP remain 50% owners of the project. And what it further is requested is that our certificate of completion that we have, and we've done this before, that it be broken down to one with the core and shell, and then the final one after the tenant improvements are done, and that the project would have 36 months for completion of the core and shell, and 24 months for completion of the tenant improvements. The second part is they had to file with us how they are financing it. The project is now a $526 million project, and the financing is Nokia Dell Labs is contributing $186 million for the base building, $130 million for the tenant fit out. The landlord equity at Morgan Stanley is fund is $40 million. SJ Properties is $10 million. And the construction loan with PNC is $160 million, or a total of $526 million. At the time they came here, they thought the project would cost around $375 million. So it's grown, and you've seen that they brought in a major REIT by Morgan Stanley in order to help with the financing. So that's what the resolution is, in order to permit that those assignment of interest, and also permit the certificate of completion to be broken down between a core and shell and a tenant, and when the tenant improvements are finished.
Okay.
Commissioners? Good?
Good.
Mr.
So-
Hoffman? Yo, go ahead, sorry.
Yes, I have a question. So when, so this is a change of developer, you indicated, and then also when is it?
The developer is the same, it's the ownership of the developer.
Ownership, excuse me, yes. And when is it that they're looking to begin?
Well, they're trying to have construction financing completed in May. Mr. Leveling, do you know when they would begin construction?
Yeah, as Mr. Hoffman said, we're shooting for a financial closing in May, to be followed, shortly thereafter by a groundbreaking. So we're on the verge here.
Okay. And what's the projected time of it being completed?
36 months they want in order to complete the core and shell of the building, and another 24 months to complete the tenant improvements.
It's a very large, very complicated building.
Project.
Right.
Yes, I do see that.
Yeah.
Does everybody know what
Additional
core and
comments?
shell is? Just curious. You guys on the board?
Repeat
Well,
that, dear.
Yeah.
Repeat that again, Anthony.
I was like, does everybody know what core and shell mean?
I don't
Does
know what
anybody?
it means.
Everything
It
but the
means the
tenant
core
fittings.
would be the center of the building, and the shell would be the outside of the building. And then they're gonna come back later, and they're gonna develop the inside of the building for whatever tenants or stuff they're gonna do, correct?
Okay.
Well, actually, we hope to start the tenant improvements
Okay.
while the core and shell is being finished.
Right,
'Cause we
but I
don't have
mean-
to wait. Yeah.
The idea is core and shell is the outside,
Right.
and the core is the center of the building. So you get the building up and everything, but like I said, depending on the height of the floors of the project, as you're toward the top doing the shell, everything else is going on below, bringing forward, upward, on the inside. Just didn't know if anybody knew.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank
I
you,
appreciate that.
Commissioner Anthony.
Mr. Hoffman or Mr. Leveling, this is going to be used by what they call the solar panels or not? Because I think we went over this.
I don't believe there are solar panels on here. Chuck, do you know? I don't,
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
I
believe, I haven't
apologize.
seen any.
I don't
I think
believe
you're correct.
there's a requirement for that.
You know, the power source we mentioned on the last time we talked about this, I recall not using solar panels. I just want to be clear on that. That's going to be an essential using a lot of power out of the city's towers, whatever's going to be there to support that.
Well, I assume Public Service Electric and Gas, which services the city as the electric provider, is gonna, that they've consulted with them and so that they can get the power from PSE&G.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes,
Hoffman.
yes, in fact.
Thank you. Mr. Lieber.
All right. No additional questions? Good. Mr. Toto?
Okay, at this time, I'll need a motion and a second on this resolution before us.
I motion.
I second.
Okay, roll call. Chairperson Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins,
Yes.
Commissioner Medina Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Let the record reflect, motion passes.
All right, thank you
Thank
very,
you all.
thank you, very,
Thank
thank
you
you
all.
very
Mr.
much.
Hoffman, thank you, Mr. Liebling.
Thank you all.
All right.
At this time, we're going to move to NBHA Resolution 2025-4-23, number 24, resolution to authorize the introduction of the July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026 NBHA budget to the New Jersey DCA. I want to let you guys know, it's the first time we haven't been late in about 5 years. Mike Maurice, our fee accountant, is here this evening. He's on. He's going to highlight some of the 2026 NBHA budget items and any questions you may have. He's here to answer them tonight. And I did promise Charlie a minute or 30 seconds at the end if he doesn't answer something he was looking forward to. Mr. Maurice. I think he's taking a dinner break.
He's muted.
He's muted.
All right. Okay. Let's see.
Okay, how's that?
Great.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, so before you, if hopefully, Dan has given you a copy of the budget, so you can look along if you have any questions. But just in a summary, I'll do this by program of the Housing Authority, and then it summarizes up. We are anticipating a surplus from operations for the public housing program of $298,250. For the voucher program, $115,840, and for the COCC and redevelopment, $107,900, for total $521,990. So if you have the budget in front of you on page F-1, you see that our total anticipated revenues are down a little bit. That's because our HUD subsidy this year was down a little bit. That's based on a formula calculation that was submitted to HUD back in October. And then I worked with Dan on appropriations on our expenses to make sure that we provided for a surplus while taking into account today's current economy with inflation, commitments for salary and benefits, and things of that nature. Does anyone have any questions so far?
Hold on. Also give them the good news about potentially what's happening over at Franklin and
Yeah.
So Dan had asked me to put together a letter to the Franklin board requesting an increase on our interlocal agreement, to increase that to $307,000 based upon the level of service, the increased level of service rather that we've been providing, and additional work. I understand that there are no employees over there now, and we're basically running that authority for that township. Dan tells me that he's expecting that to pass this week or early next week. So we should be getting, this budget does reflect that additional revenue to go, I believe it was from 275 all the way up to 307.
Yeah, I think 210 to 307, but okay, that's great. Thank you.
Hey,
And
are
Mike,
there, yeah,
Mike, can you answer the overall total budget? So I believe it's 19 million, but if you can answer that, because I believe Charlie had asked earlier in the evening.
I think I just went over that, but yeah, the total budget anticipated revenues were 19,112,900. And as I said, that's down about 240,000 from last year because of a decrease in anticipated subsidy from HUD, which is a formula-driven calculation based upon information from the prior year's audit report. But overall, we are projecting a surplus from operations in total housing authority wide of 521,990. That's,
Yep.
I mean, without going down in unless there's questions on specific line items, I mean, I have the whole budget in front of me. I can go through.
No, I have no questions, and we sent that out ahead for the board to look at. Does any commissioners have any specific questions now that we have Mr. Moosey here?
So what happens with this is tonight you will approve the budget. It then gets submitted through the FAST system to the New Jersey DCA. And once they review the budget and get any questions that they might have satisfied, they'll send you back their approved budget, at which case you will then have a resolution to adopt this budget. And then it gets posted to your website, and I believe you can also find it on DCA's website somewhere.
And the key is we want to be on time. And next week, the DCA requires us to turn it in 60 days before our new fiscal year begins, which is July 1st.
Right.
But HUD requires us only to turn it in 30 days. So we're doing a little circus act here, but we have to do it.
Well, the HUD budget is the 5272322 forms. That's the subsidy request. The state requires 60 days prior.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. If there are no questions, Mike, thank you. Wait, Charlie Cradaville, you there? I promised you a minute. What do you got?
Yeah, hi. I appreciate the presentation. I can't remember the last time that we had so much transparency on the Housing Authority budget, so I appreciate the presentation, and I want to thank you for it. Sounds good to be on time as well. My only thing would be transparency, getting it on the website as soon as possible. So I know Mr. Maurice said that once it's adopted, it'll be put on the website, but I would ask that the introduced version also be added to the website, and just be clear that that's the introduced version that's been sent to UCA as well. Just as getting in the habit of posting stuff quickly and timely would be good. And that's all I got.
Great, Mr. Cradaville. Thank you so much. If we don't have any further questions for Mr. Maurice, I'd like to have a motion and a second, and we can go to roll call.
I motion.
I second.
Thank you there. Okay, chair motions, Medina Hernandez seconds. Roll call. Chairperson Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Yes.
Commissioner Medina Hernandez.
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Let the record reflect. Minus Caldwell and Walde. Motion passes. There's no reason to go into executive session. I thank you guys for tolerating my nerves this week and calling you guys and trying to shift some things around, and we tried to juggle some things, but I had a lot of pressure put on me because I wanted to get this in by next week, and we will. Mike and I will work on this the next couple days to get it filed through fast, and thank you guys so much for all that you do. I really appreciate it. Mr. Blevins, I'll be reaching out to you with Mr. Manfredi, and we'll talk about how best to strategize our after-school program or activities, or however we need to call it, to protect everyone and fast track it, because that's the end goal, right? So
Hey,
I'd love to
thank
have
you.
you on site,
Mhm.
Mr. Blevins, too. Feel free to stop by anytime. I'll take you for a tour of the place. All right.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Let's have a motion and a second to close out the meeting for adjournment.
I motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Wright.
Second.
I don't know where the second came from. Was that
From Dunlap.
Dunlap?
Dunlap,
Okay.
okay. Roll call. Chairperson Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Blevins.
Yes.
Commissioner Medina Hernandez.
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunlap.